Good afternoon and welcome to ASEAN's Midday Market Watch. Our guest today is Jeff Halley. He's the Senior Market Analyst Asia Pacific at OANDA. Jeff, good afternoon and thanks for coming in.
Always a pleasure, Brian.
Now let's take a look at regional markets before we get your insights. Now it's a sea of green across North Asia. The Nikkei is up 1.32% at 28,027.89. Shanghai Composite is just marginally up at 0.1%. It's at 3,486.46. The Hang Seng is up sharply 1.91% at 28,822.61. ASX 200 is up 0.73 at 6,655.70. The Kospi is up 2.31 at 3,045.02. Closer to home, we've got Bursa Malaysia, which is now trading at 1,566.4. It's down 0.9%. And rounding off, we have Singapore, which is trading at 2,896.83. It's down 0.2%. Now, Jeff, what do you make of how the markets are performing in the first half of the day? Are markets taking the lead from China, or are there other variables that are in play right now?
We had a release of all the manufacturing PMIs across the region today. China underperformed, although they're putting that down to pre-Lunar New Year distortions and the COVID-19 lockdowns. But it was a mixed bag right across Asia as well, with some markets overperforming, some underperforming. So there was no real trend to ascertain there. The PBOC added 100 billion yuan of liquidity today, and then calmed the markets or reassured them that they weren't going to let the repo rates move strongly to the upside. I think that supported equity markets in Asia, in North Asia. It's been a funny old morning. US equity futures opened up 1% lower, but are now up about 0.4%. That's lifted the rest of Asia. But we saw the Nikkei, mainland China, South Korea, all open strongly in the green, ignoring those futures anyway. So I think there must be quite a bit of buy the dip mentality around here after Wall Street's fall on Friday.
Now, so what should investors, Jeff, be reading into the PBOC actions and also the PMI data? After all, it was off, I think, 0.3% off estimates. So what should we take as investors?
Well, certainly the services took a hit. Yeah, I mean, the manufacturing came in lower and the Kaizen came in lower as well. I think that suggests that obviously we're getting these Lunar New Year distortions anyway. Also the COVID-19 lockdowns, but also the lockdowns in their major export markets like Europe and China, plus all these logistical bottlenecks that we're reading about at the moment as well. It's clearly had an impact. Nevertheless, I think once we get past this February Lunar New Year period, which affects not just China, but quite a lot of Asia, we should see a return to business as normal. And I think that's why the market has given the PMIs a pass mark today. They're assuming these are all one-offs and not the start of a new downtrend. I think what we are going to see, though, is the general momentum of these PMIs slow down in the first few months of this year as the markets come to the realization that vaccines aren't going to magically make the world reopen, and that perhaps the global recovery is going to be slower than what everybody previously hoped.
Yep, so vaccines were definitely not the panacea.
No, I don't think so.
Moving on to silver. Now, silver closed at 27 on Friday, opened at 28 today, then traded up for a handful of prints at about 29. Now, the futures market was so overwhelmed that it froze a couple of times today. So obviously the retail investors who are on the GameStop and AMC game have now moved to the silver game. What's your view on that?
Yeah, well, I'm titling my commentary today when I finish writing it, the bunker hunt for Reddit October. So, I mean, they're looking, I guess they perceive that silver is not that liquid and they can move it, or that there's a lot of short sellers out there, and that sheer weight of numbers will gain them another victory. I think they're playing a little bit of a dangerous game with silver. It has a large physical market that is traded off exchange, not on exchange. And cornering the silver market has been tried before, and it's ended very, very badly. So for the people who tried to corner it. So they had initial wins, but they ended up losing their shirts. I think they need to be a bit more cautious here. Silver is the graveyard of traders. It really is a tough metal to consistently make money in. Unfortunately, I think there'll be some harsh lessons coming to the retail crowd on this on silver. But in the short term, they are probably going to book some wins.
Now, so looking ahead this week, what are the key data points and also events that we should be looking out for as investors globally?
This afternoon, we've got India's budget. I think that's going to be quite exciting. I mean, it's a really critical budget. The fiscal deficit.
We have a lot of infrastructure, right? Infrastructure spending that's sort of planned in India.
Well, things that get planned in India and things that actually happen can be two totally different things. But there is apparently that sort of plan. I mean, it should be quite a fiscally expansionary budget. Yeah, lots of spending to aid the recovery of India in 2021. That's what markets are looking for. Some of the key things here are that they're looking to pay for some of that spending by selling stakes in state-owned enterprises. Now, India has a truly abysmal record on this front because they're a very protectionist economy by nature. So there's just a litany of failures on that front. But the markets, I think, will also be concerned about taxation. They will be looking for no new taxes. So I think any positiveness from this budget could be easily outdone or undone if the Treasurer, the Finance Minister, if she announces new taxes as well. So the budget should be positive for the rupee, and it should be positive for Indian equities. But if she says the word tax, that could all be undone. We have the ongoing fiscal stimulus negotiations in the US, which have taken a back seat, but will surely reappear this week. And then the week finishes with US non-farm payrolls, where we're only expecting a gain of about 20 to 50,000 jobs. I think if that comes in below or negative, given the sentiment in the market at the moment, that could be quite negative for equities as the week ends.
Thanks for your insights, Jeff. We've been speaking to Jeffrey Halley, Senior Market Analyst, Asia Pacific at OANDA, on the BizTech's ASEAN Midday Market Watch. I'm Brian Fernandez. Check out www.biztech.asia for business and technology conversations.